Have you ever sent an email, a report, even just a simple text, and had it completely miss the mark? You knew exactly what you meant, but the words, they just didn't land. It's an incredibly common frustration, right? That feeling that your ideas aren't getting the respect and the clarity they really deserve. Well, what if the secret to fixing this has been sitting on the shelf for over 100 years, packed into a tiny little book that has guided generations of writers? Today, we're going to dig into the core principles of one of the most legendary writing guides ever published, The Elements of Style. So, let's begin our quest for clarity. It's a struggle we all face. So where do we find this timeless solution? Well, let's meet our guide. And no, it's not some trendy new app or a productivity hack. It's a little book from 1918 that packs a serious punch. This guide was written by William Strunk Jr., who was an English professor at Cornell. And his whole goal wasn't to bury his students under a mountain of obscure grammar rules. No, he wanted to do the opposite. He wanted to focus on just a handful of essentials, the rules that people break most often, and the ones that, if you just follow them, can totally transform your writing from weak to powerful. In fact, we can boil down almost all of Strunk's wisdom into 3 incredibly powerful pillars. If you can master these, you will see a huge change in your writing. And here they are. Number 1, omit needless words. Number 2, use the active voice. And number 3, be concrete. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But the real genius is in how you apply them. So let's tackle pillar 1. Strunk's first rule is probably his most famous. He says a sentence should have no unnecessary words, for the same reason a drawing should have no unnecessary lines. And that's a perfect analogy, isn't it? Every single word has to earn its place. Fluff and filler words don't just make your sentences longer. They water down your meaning and they kill your impact. They're just clutter hiding your actual point. I mean, just think about how often we hear these clunky phrases. Owing to the fact that. It's just a stuffy, formal way of saying because. Or, he is a man who. You can almost always just say he. Cutting these words is like trimming the fat. It leaves you with writing that's lean, strong, and muscular. Just look at this before and after from Strunk's own book. The first version is so rambling and clunky. The revised version cuts the word count almost in half, and it doesn't lose any information. It just combines the ideas into one smooth, forceful sentence. It's not just shorter, it's plain better. All right, on to our second pillar, use the active voice. This one's all about making your sentences more direct, more dynamic. See, in the active voice, the subject of the sentence does the action. In the passive voice, the subject just sits there and receives the action. It's a subtle shift, but it has a huge effect on your tone. Here is Strunk's most classic example. The passive version, my first visit to Boston will always be remembered by me, is just, it's indirect and a little weak. But the active version, I shall always remember my first visit to Boston, is so much more direct, confident, and clear. Who's doing the remembering? I am. The active voice puts the person doing the action right up front. Let's look at another one. There were a great number of dead leaves lying on the ground. It's okay, but it's pretty flat and lifeless. It's just stating a fact. But dead leaves covered the ground. Now you can see a picture, right? That verb, covered, is active, it's vigorous, and it paints a vivid image for the reader. And that brings us perfectly to our third and final pillar, be concrete. This, my friends, is where your writing truly comes alive. Abstract words make your reader do all the hard work of trying to picture what you mean. Concrete words do that work for them by creating sharp, memorable images. I mean, what does unfavorable weather even mean? Is it too hot, too windy, snowy? It's totally vague. But it rained every day for a week. That is a concrete reality. Your reader doesn't have to guess. They can practically see it and feel it. That's the power you get when you replace generalities with specific, concrete facts. Strunk uses this incredible quote from the poet Browning to show the sheer power of concrete details. We don't just get told that she was happy. No, we see it. We see the bough of cherries, the white mule, the terrace. These specific images are what make the scene and the writing totally unforgettable. So these rules are over a century old. Do they really still matter in our modern world of tweets and texts and emails? Oh, absolutely. In fact, you could argue that in today's age of constant information overload, clarity and conciseness are more valuable than they have ever been. And here's the psychology behind it, which Strunk quotes from the philosopher Herbert Spencer. Basically, our brains think in specific pictures, in particulars. So when you use a vague, abstract word, you're forcing your reader's brain to go digging through its files to find an image that fits. A concrete word, on the other hand, delivers the image directly. It is simply more efficient and way more effective communication. And this stuff applies literally everywhere in your daily life. In your emails, being concise gets you faster replies. On your resume, using the active voice, like I managed a team instead of a team was managed by me, makes you sound confident and competent. And in reports and presentations, these principles make your arguments hit harder and keep your audience from tuning out. So after all this, Strunk leaves us with one final crucial piece of advice. And it's really more of a challenge. It's the ultimate test for any writer who's ready to take these lessons to heart. So here it is, Strunk's final test. He says, yes, the best writers sometimes break the rules, but, and this is a huge but, they do it on purpose to achieve a very specific effect, not just because they're being sloppy. So the takeaway is crystal clear. First, you learn the rules. You master them. You make them second nature. And only then can you be sure that when you choose to break one, you're actually creating art, not just making a mistake. Now, isn't that a goal worth writing for?